Alright everybody, we're keeping on this old car. Now getting ready to start working on that fender right there. Before I got this stuff all moved out of the way and got started on that, I wanted to show you real quick how this door turned out. There's a couple imperfections that you can't really see. There's probably one right there. A couple little things, something right there, but not too bad, you know. This is all where this was reconstructed. You know, I welded this all the way from here to here and all the way around. And it's not perfect, not at all perfect, but it doesn't look bad. You know, anybody looks underneath here or runs their hand underneath there, be like, well, you know, feels pretty factory to me. And if you looked at it real close, you might be able to see something was done to it, but it is what it is. You know, it's solid, it's watertight on the inside, other than the drain holes that are supposed to be there. Anyway, it's a done deal. So I'm gonna put it inside with the other door that's done, and start working on this fender. Now I think as I get along, unless I need to match up some parts, and I don't think that right now I'm going to. I'm a little bit laid up. I got a bad knee and a bad shoulder. It's kind of a long story. Anybody knows me personally, well, you know what happened. But other than that, I'm just going to leave it at that. So I'll be lucky to get this in the house and get started on this fender. But I spent a little more than a week just getting by and not being out here doing what I love to do. So I need to get back at it. Need to get started and back at it. So, all right, everybody, we clean some of this mess up, and we'll do a introduction on this fender over here, and start doing our time clock thing on it. Clean up some of this, get rid of some of that. Just a bunch of crap sheet metal that I'm probably not going to use. I'm going to take it back to where I got it and throw it away. All right, we'll be back. All right. Driver's front fender. I still got to detrim it. I got to take some parts off of it. I'm going to pull this trim off. It goes all the way down here. A couple screws. Takes it out. Take this brace off that goes behind the headlight bucket, and this goes to the tie bar that goes across to the other. And it's about, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches away from the core support. It all kind of ties the front end together. Little bracket here has got to come off. Got our wheel well opening trim. It's got to come off. You got this little bracket right here. Now this little bracket is supposed to hold the cornering light. Goes right in here. 61 didn't have cornering lights. 62 had cornering lights. So the thing is, if I got another fender from a 61, I'd have to make this little land right here stick out far enough to bolt another bracket onto it. So this bracket will need fixed. I have to get the cornering light out and get it so it's all going to bolt back up like it should. Of course, I have some fixing to do here in this bracket. This headlight bucket is all ate up inside here, and now the eyebrow of the fender, of course, it's rusted right through here. And of course there's going to be rust in here. I can feel it already. So that's what we got to fix. We got to fix any of this rust underneath this trim that turns to be holy, which probably will. We know how things are going about this. Got a little bit of rust going on right here. So I'll work this and see what I can do about that. Now the biggest problem, and even it's not that big on this fender, is right there. You can see our bracket's gone. Those are our bolts. There's sort of an L bracket that comes down, and 2 bolts go into the car. That whole area I fixed on the car. So I'll have to make this bracket an adjustable bracket so it can go up and down and whatever. I'll have to redo our support, our fender support. I'll have to redo the skin on the bottom, probably up to here, you know, all the way through here and all the way through here. I'll make a new piece of skin, and it's spot welded along the side here. So there's a lot of work to do to this fender. And what I'm going to do, I'll find me a notepad and a pen, and right before I start doing this, I'm going to put the time down, write the time down, write the time down when I'm done. You know, wow, look at that. We got a lot of this going on too. You know, and this is the good fender. You know, so let me get this trimmed down, get clocked on, get this trimmed down, get all the parts off of it, and we're going to strip it, get the paint off, really see where we're at. That tells the true story. Alright, this has turned into a real bear, just getting the parts off of this. I mean, look at all this. Somebody had packed this full of Bondo, and there's a little bit piece of it here, but this had a big old pack full of Bondo where this headlight bucket's rusted out. And basically I've got, this is part of like a water splash shield for the inner fender well type deal, and I'm putting this on the video so that I can reference the video and know where the hell that thing goes. So there, I ain't using up the camera space on my phone. Alright, getting some stripping done. Finally got all the parts off there. Headlight bucket's pretty bad. Everything's, you know, I suppose everything's fixable. So far as Bondo goes, of course I knew this corner was Bondoed up. I don't see a whole lot of, you know, damage or Bondo, you know, on the contours and all that, and that saves a lot of time. I'm sure there's a little bit that I'll find eventually, but I don't see any creases, major anything. So what I'm doing is working in sections. I've got this is sort of what it looks like when you first put it on. This is aircraft stripper, some really nasty stuff. Gloves, and I'll tell you what, these gloves, if you get a good glob of it on there, it'll eat right through the glove and light your ass up. You get it on your arms or any kind of bare skin, you better be able to get to some water real quick, because that stuff will light you up and it'll burn. It'll hurt you. But the first application, you know, this fender has a couple different coats of paint on it, the original and then some, you know, crappy paint thrown on top of it with some primer. Well, so it'll lift up pretty good. You can kind of watch it. You can kind of watch it pop up and start eating. And this first application, the stuff will dry up faster. You can put a piece of visqueen or something over top of it to hold it in. You know, there's no sun today. It's kind of a, you know, it's a good day for this. The stuff doesn't evaporate and dry as fast. It's nice, humid, cooler day with no sun. So. And this section right here, from about here to there, right here, this is about, I don't know, I'm betting this is the 4th application just on this section. So it takes some time. There's some expense to it. I do it right over my DPW, a City of Indianapolis trash can, and I try to put it right in the trash can and let them dispose of it. But you know, everything else will dilute with water, and I'll show you after that. We'll get it all scrubbed down with water, Scotch-Brite everything best we can, blow it off, and then I'll spray it down with lacquer thinner, in and out, spray it down with lacquer thinner just to dry everything up. You know, then I'll plan a time to start doing some very serious metal work. I got a feeling. You know, the hard part's going to be this right here, this headlight bucket. There shouldn't be a big hole in there. You know, I don't know. We'll see what we'll do with that. But we'll fix her up somehow or another. You know me. Alright. Well, we're still on the clock. But saw my friend Pete was on Facebook Live here a little bit ago. Now this video is is really 4, 5, 6 years ago, I guess. I don't know.
.com. My name's Pete, and this is Bruno, and we're over at SouthwestRodandCustom.com. My name's Pete, and this is Bruno, and we're over at SouthwestRod.
Anyways, that's Pete. Here's where we're at. Got all our paint stripped off. Now let's get DA down with 80 grit, then 150 before primer. Of course, we ain't worried about all that for a while, because look at that. And it's kind of hard to see. Maybe you can see there's a hole through that. That shouldn't be there. You know, I think it had maybe some factory seam sealer inside there, and that just aided in holding the water in. You know, the eyebrow is of course it's been rusted out there, and somebody bonded it up, just like usual on this car. Nothing really got fixed right. If they use sheet metal, they use pop rivets, and I'll show you that on the next fender. We don't have any of that going on this one, but we got this corners rotted out, the eyebrows rotted out, the top of the fender has some rust through it. You know, so of course they bonded right over it. You know, what's Bondo do for rust holes? Not a dang thing. You know, we got Bondo down here, and I knew this was going on. Of course, my bracket right down here needs rebuilt. I'll have to take that piece off there and rebuild that after I replace this piece of skin. You know, right now what I'm going to do, use this little, you know, fiber wheel. It's super good on knocking old Bondo out, and I've already scraped it with a putty knife. Basically, once that acid starts getting into it, it's just real soft and scrapes off. So, you know, actually though, the body, as far as the body lines and dents and creases and all that stuff, I don't think there's too much of that to worry about. Of course, we'll find out eventually. Let me get this ground out, get off the clock, and post this video. Alright. Today's date, this is when I pulled the fender out and started taking parts off of it. There's where I quit, or at least taking a break. 5 hours. So, you know, for a non-professional like myself, and like maybe you are, prepping up a fender like this and just getting it down to bare metal and find out what's going on with it, it's going to be 5 hours, give or take. You know, I didn't really bust my ass too hard, but I've worked pretty good that whole entire time. So that gives us an idea, and I'll keep clocking on it, and we'll just see how this total fender nightmare, how long it takes. Well, I found something pretty interesting. See this right here? That's a piece of metal. Now, I thought something was funny going on just because we had this little overhang, and it's brazed. So what they did, hacked them up piece of metal and brazed it on top of the hole. Bonded it over, beat it down with a ball peen hammer. You can see a bunch of little dents around here, and they bonded it over. You know, I think the brazing, man, it's not great. That's got to be better than pop rivets. You know, if you didn't have a welder, I guess, and you was good at brazing, and you had a torch, you know, maybe you'd braze it. And I thought something was funny because on the other fender on the other side, it's so ate up and gone inside here that they actually brazed the end of the fender to the rocker panel. They had a little, you know, just a little spot of braze right here. That way this fender wasn't beating in the air going down the road. You know, so I knew somebody was doing something. Well, up here we had the other Bondo place. Guess what? Some more brazing. You know, I never was very good at brazing. I tried it a couple times and just figured, you know, there's always a welder around usually. So, but here's this piece of metal. They bent it over and stuck it in here, and that wasn't enough, and probably blew out and kept going. Well, they didn't get far enough either. You know, but all this Bondo that they, you know, they didn't have this fender off. So they did this, bonded it over, and of course water from the backside just creeped on through all that stuff. you know, they didn't have the fender off and going to pour 15 the shit out of the back side of it to seal it up and seam seal it and all that to keep that from happening. They probably didn't get rid of all the surface rust anyway, which I believe is probably what they did here inside this eyebrow. I was afraid this was, of course, it's got some rot right here, you know, and probably a little bit here. You know, there's a little bit, I don't know if that's just pinholes or I think it's actually a little bit of body damage maybe. Then they fixed it because it feels pretty rough around here. And I got a little, you can see a little hole right there. And this is probably pinholes. Yeah, there you go. You can see it now. You know, it could be rust through pinholes. So, you know, I gotta give myself a little time to think about this fender because, of course, we got to fix it. But I want to fix it the best way possible and the best way for me to fix it. So this, you know, well, it's not going to be an easy treat making these patch panels, making them right and doing my best. Good thing is though, this is all nice, just curvy kind of stuff, you know, and I've got a body line down through there that's pretty straight that I can follow on out to here and make it as, you know, close as I can. So I don't know, we got a little bit of rust starting inside the hood opening. On the other fender, it was so bad and rusted through that somebody at some point slapped a piece of sheet metal in here that was bent at a 90-degree angle, and they pop riveted in there, and you can see it on the fender. So I already know this is something I'm gonna have to fix on the other one, but at least on this one, it's pretty decent shape. So I don't know. I see a little bit of waviness just through the, you know, just looking at that fender, a little bit of waviness. So I don't know if you can see that. You can see that on down that way, but it's all right. We'll fix that too. I'm pretty tired. I don't know how much else I'll do today, but you know, of course, again, we got to rebuild our bracketry for our cornering light that goes right here, which obviously that cornering light held a lot of moisture up against it. Rebuild a headlight eyebrow, or the eyebrow here and the headlight pocket. You know, just like everything else on this car's been, and once you get down into it, boy, it's a whole lot worse than you was thinking. I'm getting used to it, and this too will overcome. We'll fix this up, and this fender will look like a brand new one. It'll be sealed up, rust free, and good to go. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and post this video. I think it'll probably go a little bit long between videos, which, you know, don't make a shit to me, but if somebody's paying attention, I want them to stay, you know, I want to keep their attention, you know, not forget about me. So I'm going to make a little bit shorter videos, get them out there, and when we come back, well, hopefully we'll start some of these patch panels, some of this metal work. Maybe I'll just do a section at a time and show you what I'm doing. I don't know. You know, you guys tell me what you think. Is this fender really, you know, is it worth fixing? These fenders are $500–600 from the southwest part of the United States, and you know, and that's with shipping and everything. You know, I don't know. I'd almost spend 8 or 10, 12 dozen nights out here welding and listening to bluegrass and enjoying what I'm doing than to spend that kind of money for a fender that's probably rusted at the bottom just like that one. It might be a little cleaner, might be save me a little bit of work, but I don't, you know, you guys tell me what you think. You can't find these fenders. You know, I found 2 in the whole United States for the other side, and it's worse than this one. This is the good fender. Anyways, you guys tell me what you think. Go ahead and comment down below. You know, if you like the longer videos or you like the shorter ones. Let me know what I should do about this fender. Go ahead and fix it like I did these doors. Lord knows them doors should have been replaced too, but they turned out nice. I think they turned out good. So anyway, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for sharing and commenting. Thanks for all my friends checking it out and supporting me and being there for me. We'll see you guys later. Boy, it's gonna be fun.